we need to make sure that we are not just telling them this based on our opinion, but on actual fact, on the Word of God. And may we understand that He is the supreme authority. He has given us His Word that is also authoritative. And if we want to live for God, then we must obey God and we must obey His rules. What God has said is sin, let no man say that that sin is not sin any longer. Now, this is what we see happening multiple times in the Bible. Isaiah chapter 5 is one of those places where the Israelites had become extremely sinful. God lays out all the sins that they had been involved in. And then in Isaiah chapter 5, verse 20, God says, "Woe to those who call evil good and good evil, who put darkness for light and light for darkness, who put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter." In other words, the Israelites had changed what God had called bitter, darkness, and evil into something they now called sweet and good and light. In other words, they had changed what God said was sinful into something that was what they considered not sinful. They called it good. Does this work? Can a whole country vote on something or agree that X behavior is no longer sin because that's the way they want it to be? Well, they certainly can, and they may think that it works, but Israel soon found out that their opinion could not overthrow God's opinion on this issue, and they received the wrath of God for their behavior. We see something very similar happening with Jeremiah when God calls him to be a prophet. There in Jeremiah chapter 6, we see that similarly the people had gone against God, the people had become sinful, and there were false prophets, that is, people who falsely represented God, coming in saying that it's okay, God is at peace with you, and they actually say peace, peace, but God says there is no peace. These people are actually under the wrath of God because they have changed what was sinful into something that they now consider great. So let us consider these things and understand that we are the creation, we are the creatures, God is the creator, and we must submit to His rules. And what God has called sin, may we not try or attempt to change, or we will receive the wrath that the sin deserves, even though we no longer call it sin. Hope you have a great day. Hopefully I've given you something to think about.